Hello, Transurfers and the Transurfing Curious. I am Renee Garcia, and this is, of course, TransurfingTV, the only officially endorsed YouTube channel by Vadim Zeland himself, the author of Reality Transurfing. So if you have not yet subscribed, please do so now. Your energetic contribution via your subscription is greatly appreciated at TransurfingTV. And if you have not yet joined our Facebook group, the International Transurfing Institute Facebook group, please feel free to do so if you would like to participate in conversations like this and many more. So this lesson is by request. It is from Ollie, who is one of our top members at ITI. He asked how I maintain awareness for myself. So I am going to go over some of my tips and tricks for maintaining awareness, but first I would like to tell everyone why I maintain awareness, or why I have systematically trained myself to maintain awareness, and what awareness or high awareness levels do for me specifically. So first of all, maintaining high awareness allows me to really maintain awareness around the pendulums that are in my reality, my relationship to the pendulums, how I interact with the pendulums, and how much energy I am giving to the pendulums. When my self-awareness levels go down, pendulums have more of an opportunity to hook on to me, taking my energy that would best be served elsewhere, right? My own endeavors, my success, and all the good stuff. So it helps me to really maintain my energy levels via pendulums. Maintaining high awareness helps me to understand that I have been gifted the idea of choice in my reality, or the power of choice. We as human beings, we don't have to just adhere to a script. We get to decide. So if things aren't going well in my reality, I know it is because I have simply made that choice. If things are going well in my reality, again, I have my power or my ability to choose to thank, because I have chosen for things to go well for me. So the power of self-awareness really helps me to understand that I have the ability to choose the script that I want. Again, if your self-awareness levels are low, you will get taken along for a ride and a script will be decided for you. Again, this is you adhering to pendulums. This is you not acknowledging your direction or why or how really you are going someplace. You are just letting something else take you, whereas self-awareness, you stop and you get to decide the script that you are going to follow. So remaining aware helps me to see when my world presents opportunities for me, solutions to my challenges, and helps me to connect with information that I need to further my own purpose. Again, if I'm adhering to a script that isn't good for me and my self-awareness levels are low, I am not going to see any of that stuff. So self-awareness helps me to connect with all those things that I need to really be personally successful in my reality. It also helps me to acknowledge that first win in the wave of success. So Vadim Zeland says in the book that the wave of success, or the wave of fortune, really starts off with acknowledgement of that first win, that small little thing, that finding a coin on the ground or connecting with a little bit of good luck. If I'm not self-aware, I don't see that thing. I'm lost in my mind, or I'm mixed up with a pendulum, and I am not able to capture that first win in my reality that takes me up on that wave of success. So without awareness, I am pendulum food. I am a puppet. I am a mannequin. I am a paper person getting taken for a ride. With awareness, I am ruling my reality, making the call where I funnel my energy to and why. I am in control. So how do I do it exactly? I am going to give you a few tips now. These are more or less what I do. Some of these things I use more than others, but really it's about you deciding which ones work for you, if any of them, and then finding out how you can implement them into your everyday living and making this systematic. Raising your awareness levels is about you being systematic. And if you can't accept that it is going to take systematic practice to get your awareness levels up, then you are going to fall back asleep. So really, in the initial stages of self-awareness, it is about systematically remembering to wake up. So the first one, the one that Tufte gave us all, I see myself and I see my reality. This is absolutely huge. If I can ask myself systematically through my day, I see myself and I see my reality, then when I get into trouble, it will kick in. So I can't just ask my mind to remember this in times of trouble. I have to systematically remember it so when I get myself into trouble, I can wake up. Okay, so I'll give you an example. I usually ask myself this multiple times a day, or state this to myself. I see myself and I see my reality. The other day, I got some bad news. My sister has cancer, right? I was devastated. I sort of lost my awareness. I was wrapped up in my outer screen, in my inner screen, and I lost myself. On the way over to go visit her, I got into a car accident. Somebody hit me with their car. So I get out of the car and I start walking up to the person and I say something negative to them. Okay, this is when my brain goes, wait, I see myself and I see my reality. It allowed me to wake up in that present moment and see exactly what was going on there, how I was responding to the situation, how I was getting lost, how I was getting taken on a ride. I was adhering to a script that was not good for me. But I can't expect myself to only state I see myself and I see my reality in a moment that something is going down that isn't good for me. I have to ask myself this. So when I get into these situations, when the pendulum comes for me, when the unfortunate event happens, when I start to transfer to a track that isn't intended for me or isn't good for me, this is when that systematic practice pays off. So awareness of the center screen. We all have the propensity to go into one screen or the other. Introverts have a challenge of constantly being sucked into the inner screen. Extroverts are constantly being pulled to the outer screen. So we have to remind ourselves of this center screen. This is you pulling yourself out of yourself, and this is you pulling your mind out of the outer screen and allowing yourself to exist in a space where you are in control, where you have a say, where you understand the economics of your energy, where you understand your ability for being able to choose. This is all stuff that exists in the center screen. So what I challenge you all to do is, of course, try to call to mind where you go when you drift away. Are you drifting out? Or are you drifting in? I'm assuming that a lot of us are drifting in because we're probably all really crazy overthinkers and we're intellectuals and we like to really get wrapped up in our heads. So I tend to get wrapped up in my inner screen, and I will give you a few tricks to help me, what helps me to pull myself out of my inner screen. So again, I remind myself that being in my inner screen is not going to serve me or my reality. I remind myself that the center screen is where magic happens. It's where I can see opportunities. It's where I can go after things and be successful. When I'm just wrapped up in my own head, that's nothing exists for me there. So one of the things that I have learned to do, and this is actually a practice by Gurdjieff, and I gave this in one of my Tufty seminars, is the practice of dividing the outer screen. So here I am, okay, and let's just say I am getting sucked into my outer screen. Now, getting sucked into my outer screen is obviously just getting wrapped up in all the external things and social media and news and family calling and all kinds of craziness. So if I'm feeling myself really pulled into this outer screen, what I do is I try to consciously divide my attention. And if you want to read more about this concept by Gurdjieff, it's a powerful one, and I won't be able to explain it all right now, but I'll give you the gist. So dividing your attention is simply you focusing on two objects at once. Let's say you're outside, you're noticing yourself getting sucked into your outer screen. You are going to try to, at the same time, focus on the sun and a tree as you're walking, because as you set the intention that you are going to divide your attention between these two things, this makes it to where you can't just get lost, because you are attempting to do something instead. So trying to maintain focus on two objects at once, if you are getting pulled into your outer screen, will help you to stay in that center screen. It will help you to stay aware. Self-remembering is the other version of that. This is if you're getting pulled into your inner screen too much. So self-remembering is pulling yourself out. Gurdjieff, again, this is a Gurdjieff concept, that you focus on the tip of your nose. You have a soft focus from your eyes onto the tip of your nose, or your hands, or something that you see physically within yourself, outside of yourself. So this helps you, if you can maintain a soft focus, that you're not just getting lost inward. You are attempting to pull your attention out. So these are two concepts that Gurdjieff has really pioneered, and they have helped people immensely in maintaining self-awareness. Clapping the hands. I used to do this one a lot. I don't do this one so much anymore. But if I'm doing something and I feel like I am getting lost in my thoughts, I simply clap my hands, and this brings me awake and it brings me out, and I wake up. Sometimes a drastic measure, especially with a sound, if you can create it, will pull you right out of yourself and your internal thoughts. So this is a good one. Again, I used to use this one all the time. I don't do this so much anymore, because being in the center screen, again, after a systematic practice, has become easier and easier for me. Maintaining measuring my energy levels. So my energy levels tell me a lot about my awareness. If I have more energy, I am managing my awareness levels. If I am depleted, then I know that my awareness levels have gone down, and again, pendulums have pulled from me, or I have simply allowed my energy to bleed out of me in different directions without awareness. So simply measuring your energy levels and asking yourself, how do I feel? How do I feel is a really, really valuable question in maintaining proper awareness. If you're feeling good, then you are managing your awareness levels well. Knowing when my tank tends to go empty, I lose consciousness. So again, if I am bleeding out energy and my energetic tank starts to run dry, I know that is another opportunity for me to lose awareness. So it's kind of the reverse, because sometimes we simply can't help it, right? We're in a situation, let's say a work environment or something, where we have to give a lot. Well, if we give too much and our energy tanks go down, then that is a moment where we will lose consciousness, lose self-awareness, and things can come in and then hook onto you and pull more out of you than you have to give. So I will leave you with one of my top tips. Again, this is Tufty, and it is brilliant for maintaining your awareness in your environment, but simply asking yourself the question systematically: where am I? Who am I? And what am I doing? Where am I? Who am I? And what am I doing? This is pure magic. If you can do this at least just a few times a day to start, and then the next day maybe a time or two more, with a little bit of practice, you will always be aware of what it is you're doing, why you're doing it, and where you are with your thoughts, where you are in your environment with in relation to pendulums and others, and what it is you're doing exactly. So just simply asking the question, where am I? Who am I and what am I doing, will work wonders. But again, it has to be systematic. You can't just say it a couple times and expect to see results. So again, systematic practice, and you will create the habit of remembering. And with time, if you can create this habit of remembering, it almost becomes like a background program running that you don't even have to really think of. Now, all of this stuff for me is sort of second nature. I don't really have to think about maintaining awareness levels. I have made it part of my new programming. So I hope this helps. I hope this answered your question, Ollie. Again, if anyone has any topics that they would like me to go over, please send your suggestions and I will gladly do so. I hope you all benefit from this lesson, and please like this video if you do in fact like it, and obviously send a comment if you feel the need. Thanks so much, Transurfers. Bye.